I was going to say that although the private companies right now have the most powerful models, because realistically there is no university or consortium of universities that can build the same quality of AI models,
Yeah.
because we simply don't have the money, don't have the assets, and yeah, probably there isn't even the incentive to do that at the current stage. But now the problem becomes, how do we know that the models that we're using for research are unbiased? They
Yeah.
are designed actually to do the research properly. And yeah, how can we just be sure that they don't just act as a black box that is spitting out specific answers that have been pre-programmed and are perhaps hiding, especially in more social sciences, this is this cannot be proven. When we're talking about arguments in politics, economics, there is no way to verify whether the arguments are truthful or not. So now the stance of academia becomes, in my opinion, that academia becomes the only place where we can verify the output of AI, and we can now justify or suggest to the public which AIs are the most truthful based on the different options based on the different subjects that we're using them for. And so academia needs to maintain their own status, their own position, as
Mm.
perhaps the source of verification of all the outputs of the different AI models. I'm not sure, because I actually haven't thought about the intricacies and details, but could this be the role of academia in the future?
It could be. Yeah, it could
Protecting
be that.
citizens from what all the other models are saying.
I mean, that would be a very different world of of what academia would mean, right? If researchers are doing sort of, hands-on work, industry is doing everything automated. Researchers are priding themselves on being like a bastion of truth amongst a load of biased research happening at big institutions. It's like a totally different concept of what academia versus industry could look like in the future. But that's kind of assuming that academia wouldn't evolve along the same lines as industry, just in, maybe academia would evolve to be training people to be those AI operators, as we've said in the past. I mean,
Yeah. Hmm.
perhaps it could look very different to what we can even conceive in that way. But I think that the future of work will be operating lots and lots of different AIs as a director. I've said it before. And I think that academia might evolve to be more like that than be a hands on problem solver. And maybe we shouldn't resist that. Maybe that's just, it naturally starts to look a bit more like what jobs in industry would look like as time passes and things adapt. And maybe we're just resisting it because we're from a different generation of researchers, if you like, who did things hands on. And we love that resilience building, problem solving skills that we're developing, but maybe they're totally defunct.
Okay.
And I like the idea that the academic labs are, not beholden to these biases of the big corporations. But I mean, in terms of research, of scientific research, you'd like to think there was maybe objective truth to be found and it doesn't really matter. But in terms of policy research, I suppose you would still think that there would be policy of different political leanings, for example, or different objectives from that policy. Unless the AI is really biased, I think you'd still find those objective truths within because policy at its core is just finding. It sounds subjective, but actually it's relatively objective when you think about it. You're trying to create rules and systems that create an output of behavior or outcome in society, right?
Yeah, in the modeling and planning, for sure. But when it then comes to actually designing the law, and there is all the different lobbyist groups coming and
True.
proposing their own changes to the law, in my opinion, it becomes an extremely biased process, and the AI doesn't necessarily help you prevent
Yeah.
this.